So I had a couple written down, so I'm just gonna go ahead, and maybe it might spur some more questions, but, actually, that was one with the staining. Do you know, maybe you or other sculptors, do they do, like, repeat services on their
I
sculptures?
usually don't even do the first coat. I usually, because it's something that they're gonna have to do,
Mhm,
I basically inform them how to do it.
mhm,
And, and there's different products. I like people to start with linseed oil because you can't mess it up. It's like, you know, you can be barely over freezing and get it on and then not be like worry about not adhering or running and the colors layering. And then you can go down to other products that are, I usually like that spring and fall first year. And then you can add like Australian timber oil. I think that's what Mead uses now. And last time I looked, theirs looked really nice.
mhm,
Um, some carvers put a spar varnish.
mhm,
I recommend diluting it with some oil and thinner. Otherwise, if they go south, you start getting that peeling and flaking look.
mhm. Yeah.
So that I would say is the biggest downside is it has to be maintained. I
And
mean, what doesn't have to, but you
yeah,
want it to look nice.
yeah. So if it's properly maintained,
It'll last.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I mean,
A lot
wood,
of homes.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, wood, it, at least untreated wood, I know it has a shelf life, but if it's properly treated, it should be,
Yeah.
pretty long.
Because your tree is still in the root, is in the ground,
Mhm,
that would be, but you're talking hardwoods. So if you think of a forest fire, those dead standing trees are there for, you know, decades. Um, but the root system does have potential, if it's in the, let's say, a real swampy area or something,
mhm.
that does have the potential to decompose faster.
Yeah,
Then you always have the option of cutting it and setting it on something solid.
yeah.
So it's not like you're gonna lose your sculpture completely, and you can actually then, pour base and make it kind of solid.
Mhm,
Exactly. Yeah.
mhm.
So those are the two downsides. Those are not the only two downsides I can think of for of chainsaw art.
Okay. Um, is there any age of wood that you prefer to work on? Like, is any wood too old?
I prefer green,
Yeah.
especially if it's hardwood,
Mhm,
because if it starts drying out, I mean, your saw gets dull real fast. It's. I've had old trees where I'm almost seeing sparks because it's so hard.
ooh,
But if you carve an oak or ash and it's green, you'll get some nice cuts. You can get real crisp lines, and then it actually cracks around where you carve.
mhm,
So if you got an old cottonwood and you got a 2-inch crack, because they're all going to crack, that's guaranteed.
mhm.
Put it on my cards. And let's say I'm doing those flowers and I have a crack and I want a petal. If I cut across that crack, my petal's gone. So I actually have to fill it in and glue it before I carve it. But it's green, I carve it and for some reason it'll crack around. Everything you might get a crack, but everything still stays solid together.
Okay.
I guess I keep looking at you. I guess I still know.
No, it's all, it's all good.
You can look at him.
Um, and then when you get approached for like a quote for a tree, like what is going through your head in the quoting process? Kind of getting an idea behind like.
When I start estimating for my price, the main first things I look at is the size of the tree.
Mhm,
There's a huge difference between a 4-foot wide tree and a 12-inch tree.
mhm,
It's like 4 times the word. Then I can take in consideration what type of tree. Because again, ash versus a green lodgepole pine are going to carve totally different. So I'm going to be sharpening my saws more. Um, and then the next thing is I consider the difficulty.
mhm,
So, and I've done some very intricate pieces, and then I've done some where I don't know, see if I can get up there. What you would call like
Yeah. I could see the scaffolding. Yeah, that's huge.
So, all that, so that's one thing cool about chainsaw art. You can have something, between, $15 to $2,000, and, you cut the height of the tree lower, you make the subject simpler, or you could be going up to $8,000 to $10,000, depending on, and those are the kind of like the two extremes.
Mhm.
Most of the carvings are probably around 20, yeah, 25 to 5 kind of range.
Mhm. Are are they kind of easy to? I mean, just like a tree, probably if you wanted to take them with you, you just chop them off at the base and pick it
Depends
up.
on the size of the tree.
True. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there's a lot of weight in them babies.
Yeah.
Of
One.
course, it's been sitting there a while, they're, drying out. Or you mean if somebody wanted to
City
steal it?
has access to a backhoe, so you can, she's moved a lot of stuff, by backhoe.
Okay.
But
Not.
like, well, the stuff you're seeing, it's not like someone's gonna come up with a chainsaw and cut it and
No.
throw it in the truck.
The
They're movable, but most of them are gonna require a heavy tip.
the reason I ask that is because a lot of these will be out in front of a house, and say the house changes ownership, and they're just like, well, we don't want this sculpture out front. It might be an inevitability that they just want it removed, and that's not the worst thing in the world. We're not just going to topple it over and take it to the dump. We could probably take it to another park and actually mount it somewhere. Um, is there any consideration for like mounting it not on its trunk? Like, do you like set rebar or like poles?
I
Like,
know some people do that. The main thing I make sure is you don't want to put it on ground if you're repositioning it. You want to put it on, like we said, rock or cement, or some carvers get real fancy where they do actually leave space between, so there's no condensation. So it kind of depends, but the main thing is making sure it's not going to blow over and it's not going to decompose the bottom. And it's not like it's kind of hard to treat the bottom. So
Yeah.
something to keep in mind.
okay, cool. That was kind of all my questions. So, if you guys got any?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are there a certain type of tree that you would or would not carve? Let's say the species of tree or the condition it's in?
If it's rotting and has huge cracks and metal, I would prefer not to do it.
That makes
But
sense.
I don't want a customer to invest a bunch of money in a tree that's going to fall apart. And so that's, if you have an old cottonwood that's 15 years old and it's rotting out in the middle, I don't want them to spend $3,000 to have it fall apart. So you ideally want to at least start with a good subject. But I've carved some pretty rough looking trees and pulled stuff out of them, so. But, a 12-inch, you can get at least something nice out of it. And ash, I know a lot of times aren't huge, so, and what, that's the Bible market right there.
This one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is beautiful.
and that's in the, I think it's called Heritage Park of Greeley or
Houston.
Farm, Houston Park or Farm
Oh,
or
Houston
whatever.
Gardens, yeah,
Um,
Houston Gardens.
And, so if you have a thinner tree, you either wanna create something where like things are climbing or, you have to stack, kind of the idea, or you just carve parts of it. I mean, you can't carve like, a person out of a 12-inch tree and make him 6 foot tall, he would look like a piece of,
Yeah.
you know, that's common.
Yeah. Do you do wood burning on some of these? It seems like you get these darker
Yep,
effects.
that's
Um,
wood
Okay.
like that one, had also, super deck
Mhm.
is the treatment that had on, and, the oil-based super deck. Okay, yes.
So if we wanted to leave it on the stump, and I'm thinking of especially along the tree line corridors, if there's a large diameter root that's going into the sidewalk, we probably want to cut that root off so we can regrade. How well do they stay on the stump with one of those larger roots gone?
So you wanting to cut the root system?
Just towards like sidewalk side, or if it's going into the curb.
You know, I don't know the answer to that. But I don't know how deep ash roots go.
Pretty
You know, blue spruce, they're, I know, more shallow because people are hard to move over.
Yeah, it's certainly more of a problem with like the oak or some of the box elder.
Yeah, so I'm not familiar how the root system goes, but, I guess that's something to consider.
Do you ever, maybe come up to a 6 foot stump and you start carving into it and find rot? And then do you have to like back away from a job because there was unfound, unseen rot in?
I've never not carved a tree.
Mm.
I've altered my design.
Mm.
And so a lot of times I've been fortunate enough that, if I come across rot, I'm able to get that out and move the design into a different direction and get into stable wood. And I've had more problems like with, ants and then had to do a lot of filling. It looked like a great tree and then there was a whole family of ants in there and they were having fun. But
You know, almost always that rot is visible.
Mhm.
You can see it at, at the top of the cut or,
True. Yeah.
but I've gotten pretty good with, firming up wood by shims and Gorilla Glue. So, and like I had to do that, I think at the park last year, doing Great Big Eagle and was carving great. And then I hit a bunch of ants. It's like, okay, get the ants kill and shim it and Gorilla Glue and it's probably not going to be as good, nice, long lasting as if it was done solid, but they end up pretty fast.
When a customer comes to you, do they usually have like a hand sketch or something, or maybe they just even give you the idea and then you?
Usually, they are just thinking it's, it seems like a lot of them are, well, there's a different range. A lot of them are coming and they just think it's cool to have a tree carved and they have no idea. I have some people that say just, do whatever. And I at least try to get them, it's like, okay, do you like nature? Do you like, at least get a direction. And then I have other people, they know exactly what they want. Like that one lady, I was actually carving the lady, and then they wanted 2 kids with her to represent their grandkids. So then I had to make sure it was gonna fit, their subject would fit in that space. So I had, and usually what I do for the customer is, once they give me a direction, they send me a picture of the tree with somebody standing by it. And I will draw a couple designs with different prices, so they have the flexibility. And I do a quick sketch to show more of the spacing of how that subject would fit in that tree. And then, they can alter it, they can take or subtract, and also then kind of gives them an idea where they're going on their budget. something to work with, but I usually try to let them at least try to put me in the direction. Because again, you can make something very elaborate, or I can make a little raccoon popping out.
Yeah.
And so those are, like I said, two huge different price ranges.
Mhm.
So, they could have a carving to brag on, and what's really interesting is I can carve a bear popping out and one peeking out, and people love it. Or I can carve, one of these huge magnificent carvings, and they still love it. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that kind of brings up an idea, like the popping out, like maybe they want to keep most of the bark on the tree, but say there's like a, little popping out kind of carving. Have you noticed, because it still has the original bark on it, do you do something to treat the bark to maybe get it to not slop off over the years, or?
it's gonna fall off.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah,
That's,
you can put your oil on it to kind of keep it moist and keep it on there longer.
Mhm.
I've had some people actually take little toenails and tack them back on.
Yeah.
But, eventually, it's gonna fall off.
yeah, that's not,
So,
and then like, what's the time frame? Like, from getting the drawings, like getting approached to getting out and,
I have become a little more popular. I would actually put this as a kind of a priority just because you're nice and close and, it'd be a fun project to do. Technically, I'm out a year.
Wow.
But I'm doing some big projects. I got the canal workers talking to me about doing 10, working with the city 11 right now, they, but, along the canal 10 benches, and so those
Oh,
take,
wow.
and that's what the park, the Denver Museum one, or they call them interactive, ecosystem benches. So each bench was different animals, but like kids could climb up and sit on the buffalo, or their parents sit beside them. So I do have a little bit of a waiting list, and
But this is the priority.
yeah,
And you're
Right.
local, that's good.
yeah, it sounds like you go all over the place, so that's awesome.
we are starting to tighten our belt because I've been tired of driving. But we've carved in.
Staying in Denver hotels is no fun.
Yeah, it's getting me out. But we carved in Montana, Dallas, Texas, Wyoming. We have traveled, but we've gotten so busy that
We live right up Thompson Canyon, so here, Berthoud is 15 minutes. This is really local for us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So once, depending on I usually try to respond at least within a week or two. If I have a customer, send me, and I tell him, and he's really good about helping with emails, telling them, give me a picture, and you need to have somebody standing. I try to give them design, and then once they agree, then I put them on my schedule, and then,
Yeah.
And for payment, for these type of things, because life changes, I don't make them put a deposit to put me on the schedule. When I come, I expect half down, and when I drive away, the remainder. So it's not like, I try to keep it simple. Like I said, I've had the tree fall, a storm come in, a tree blow over. I've had people no longer alive when they came up, so it's kind of like, what do you do? So that's how, and I'm so busy that that's not a problem,
But being local means that, when there's weather, inclement weather, you show,
Well, yeah, actually, the one I'm planning to do Thursday, Friday, they're not until next spring, but it's like with the weather and stuff, it's like, okay, hey, I'll come this week.
Yeah.
So,
And can you go year round, or do you prefer not to do winters? Like,
we kind of take January off now, but other than that, we carve year round.
okay.
That's one thing nice about Colorado. You could be in January, well, or December or February, and have 70-degree weather.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're not getting frostbite. It
Yeah,
is.
and today I almost didn't go to work, but everything else carving was below my waist.
Mhm.
Versus carving here where everything's come right in your face, and
Yeah.
eating sawdust. And I wasn't on scaffolding, but so rain is probably a no-go.
high winds.
And high winds are kind of
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, our board showed a lot of interest in it when we came to them with like our yearly report. So it's going to be our goal this year to really put together like a framework for a program, and maybe toss a number out there like what a good budget might look like for a program like this, and then um, yeah, just also if the need for it is there in the community. Like this isn't just going to be a program that you know only sees one or two people per year. Even though that'd be honestly, if it sees one or two people a year, I think it'd still be a good program. So.
Because I was gonna say, if that's something you guys really think you're gonna do it, give me a heads up and I'll put you on now, and then you already got priority.
Mhm.
So that's something to keep in mind. And it's really cool that you guys are wanting to work with the customers, because I've had 2 trees that I carved and they ended up getting cut because they were on right of ways and they didn't get permission.
Yeah.
And so yeah, then you're
What happened in those situations?
one was out by I-25, and it was he had yeah, CDOT. He had to cut both of the trees. They actually one the customer cut. He had the equipment. He was a farmer, and he just moved it over into his lot. And the other one was on 34, and CDOT cut it for him and set it by his house. So they didn't lose the sculpture, but it's like, check first.
That is interesting right of ways, because Highway 56 Main Street here in town is actually a CDOT highway. So that would be good to consider.
Yeah, so yeah, if you have to get their approval, you might want to do it before.
Yeah. Or yeah, go through the lengthy approval process. And hopefully it's okay. Yeah, I've worked with CDOT before. It's fun.
So, yeah, I think it's a really cool idea.
Cool.
And you'll be amazed at the response. I'm always amazed at the response I get from the public when I'm carving. It's like when I'm in more of a public place, the first day, usually on scaffolding, and they're like, "What are you doing? You're making noise," kind of thing. And then as I come down, pretty soon I'm getting high fives, thumbs up, horns beeping, and it's smiles. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, if anyone else has any other questions, I appreciate you coming in and sharing your profession with us, and you do some awesome work. And
Yeah, literally check out Facebook. You'll find it a lot more interesting.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope we do some work together.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want to see the one sculpture that's been done in town other than the school, it's at 4th and Massachusetts. I think it's 5th or 6th.
It might be.
Yeah, I think it's on 6th. It's pretty close to 6th.
It might be. I could show you guys. It's just kind of. It might be on your way out of town. I think it's 5th in Massachusetts. So town hall's right here. If you go down Mountain, turn up 5th, you'd see it. And it's right on this corner of Massachusetts. I wonder if it's actually. Nope, it's not. Oh wait, nope. Oh, there it is. Yep. So that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
See,
that's.
and that would be considered more of a simple carving.
Mhm.
See, most of it's just the tree.
So yeah, that was a good one that started all the buzz. So yeah,
And they love it. People love it.
yeah. It made splashes in the small town. So it was awesome.
It happens.
Hey, does anybody know if that water park is gonna go in, or is that just a rumor?
They're working towards it. I mean, it's expensive. So a lot of planning is going into that, and yeah.
Over by the rec center?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while, but we are talking about an outdoor pool in the near future, so
That rec center is really nice.
it's nice to hear. I think we all
All
enjoy it.
right. You guys have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
We love working. This is a great little town. You don't change.
You guys have a good night.
That was great.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting me in.
Yeah.
So we will introduce Daniel.
Okay.
Sorry, you got carried away by.
Yeah, I didn't know how long that would take, and I didn't want to just like hanging out. So.
That's a hard one to follow, though. I'll tell you.
And that kind of gives a little insight into what we're working on. Sorry, I couldn't give you a little rundown before, but I tried to intro them as much as I was introing you to the kind of one thing we've been working on lately. So
Yeah,
Um,
that's great.
but
Yeah, and you sent me the agenda and last month's minutes and everything, so I was able to catch up on all that. But uh, I'm Daniel Buendia or Danny, or as long as it's not late for dinner, right? I've worked with trees for a long time. I ran a vegetable farm for about 5 years in Vermont and worked with a lot of different types of foresters, Christmas trees, sugar trees, and did current use programs. So I worked with the state forester of Vermont, and I did a lot of what they called forest management, which was just cutting standing dead and selling it off for firewood and all that. And currently, I'm a civil engineer, and I work at the university at CU on the planning and design team. So I work directly with the landscape architect and try to figure out how to best utilize public spaces with low intensity trees and try to keep them away from sidewalks and roads and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my nutshell there.
And, because this came up in the interview, you're familiar with HOA governing.
Yeah. I used to do residential design, and so I'd have to do a lot of layouts for new large developments and figure out all the covenants and how we'd have to manage spacing and the amount of size for like the site visibility zones and whose tree would be what, depending on where it was. So keeping the public spaces and private spaces clearly delineated and things like that.
This brings a lot of knowledge and experience to this group.
Welcome.
Thank you.
That's a big factor on what we've been dealing with lately too. Is really we as you can probably tell, Berthoud's growing by leaps and bounds. Lots of new subdevelopments everywhere, and one of the big things I've been working on with this committee over the last 3 years has been really just public outreach, educating homeowners. Berthoud's unique tree code where the adjacent property owner is responsible for their right-of-way trees, which catches a lot of people as surprise more times than not. But the least we can do after that is educate them on how to take care of it. The forestry department's always a resource. The tree advisory committee is always a resource to them. And so it's not like just like, hey, figure it out and don't let us catch you doing this, that, or the other. It's like we're here to help. We're here to all grow our urban forest together. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Because some municipalities are not that way.
yeah. We're it's the least we can do while being so small, and our forestry department is 3 people strong, and we only have a 45-foot bucket truck. And as much as we would like to tackle everything we could, we're just not there yet. So
Yeah.
getting the homeowners on board is really the best thing we can do right now.
Yeah, and in general, I mean, education and outreach, I lived in the Southwest, so water use is always a big deal. So that was a big part of it. I was doing those residences during the time where they outlawed non-usable turf. So there was a huge pushback on all of that as well. So
Yeah.
dealing with town halls and things like that is very familiar.
Yeah, I wonder how far off Colorado is from some of that. It'll be here, I'm sure. Well, cool. Yeah, thank you for joining us, and we're excited to have you. And I don't know if you guys want to introduce yourself. Lynn, he's been a long time member here. I think 4,
I'm
5.
about, well, my time runs out in August, so
Yeah.
into my second term.
Mm.
And I was going to ask you, because we keep hearing this about non-functional lawns, non-functional turf. And what is functional turf versus non-functional turf? It's not trees, but how does that work?
Yeah, that's kind of up to the city to decide, but the way that they were operating was it was anything that wasn't like a community park
Uh-huh.
or a golf course,
Oh, okay.
anything that didn't bring a public benefit
Okay.
would be considered
So
non-functional,
my front yard is non-functional.
technically.
Technically,
Under that, under their definition.
Okay. Yeah, I came on the committee,
Yeah.
I came on the committee 3.5 years ago, because both Amy and I came on in November. So, but my experience was just being with the Boy Scouts. So that's my tree experience. And then living up in, well, growing up in eastern North Dakota, basically in Minnesota,
Mhm.
in the woods and stuff there. So that was, I came on, the committee was shorthanded always, it seemed like up to that point. I said, well, I have interest in trees. I don't have any expertise except as a Boy Scout. But at least I can fill a seat and we can have a quorum. So that's the way I felt.
Don't
That's why I
understand.
got-
And that's why you invited me.
Yeah, you're the
Phil,
expert.
I got a heartbeat.
Oh, you get
Pulse.
Lynn is very active in the community, and he keeps us informed on other board going ons and.
Well, I give Sean, he's one of our trustees. I give him a bad time sometimes because I attend the trustees meetings and then I come back. So-
Yeah, Lynn is our town expert. So if I ever need direction, he's the one.
Good to know.
Thank you.
Hannah has been on our committee maybe like a little over a year, and she brought some good like Firewise planting background and that kind of voice to our committee. So I was thinking about you today. I don't know if you happen to hear what happened. Yeah, I was thinking about you all day because it's just like with the winds and it was just right outside of town. I was like,
Is that what Rick was talking to me as we came in? We were up by Carter Lake someplace?
not even up by Carter Lake, down the hill from
Oh.
Carter Lake. The grass fire started,
Hmm.
and with 40-mile-an-hour winds, that's pretty scary stuff. So, yeah.
So I'm definitely not an expert. I started out as an avid gardener, just really interested, hear a lot about trees, and really interested in like Firewise practices, sustainability. But yeah, just here to learn also.
And she has a great like marketing focus, I think. You have a really good
Yeah.
focus on that.
I come from like the business world. I work for Ann Schutz, CEO. So, but yeah, I'm just interested and I'm here to learn from these people. So.
And I'm the one that's only newer than you. So they all shoved me into being chairman because nobody wanted to.
Yeah. That's why I'm vice chair.
They did. And I'm a master gardener and very interested and I'm on the tree team for Larimer County. And I like doing outreach and education.
Yes.
That's really critical and crucial to what I.
Master gardener also.
So I'm Randy, secretary for maybe about 3 years now. I'm into my second term and 42 years in the construction industry. We're used to cutting trees down and doing anything beneficial with them. So, but I just had an interest in getting involved in the government a little bit and seeing if I could help. So.
Randy's been a great resource for the inner workings of not just his HOA, but kind of other HOAs. I'm totally on the outside on that. I don't own a property like a house yet, but Randy's been great on that, and he's also very vocal in his community, speaking for the trees. And I mean, I even ran into you out there one time, actually taking it into his own hands, taking some pruning into his own hands, and so he really organizes his community, and I think we could learn a bit for how to spread that out to other communities, finding good grassroots residents in every community we have, and spurring some kind of anything for the trees out there.
Make everyone a Lorax.
Yeah.
And a different aspect was that he did an amazing job on getting our new Arbor Day calendar put together. Which has just been a phenomenal community outreach.
I was gonna bring it. Mhm.
It's in my office.
I'm Amy Lentz. I'm with Lynn. I'm almost done. I'll be done in August as well. Second when I started, gosh, 3.5, whatever years ago, I was the extension specialist for Weld County, horticulture specialist. And I actually got called out to look at the cemetery trees and come up with a plan for how to deal with those. They've all mostly since now been cut down.
Yeah.
They had ips beetle, but, so that's kind of my thing is tree diagnostics. Now I teach at CSU, so we're rivals. It's fine. I teach plant
My
propagation.
wife's going to CSU, so
Oh, good. Did she get into the?
she got into the vet program.
Congratulations.
Very good. Yeah, I teach plant propagation and
Very cool.
the senior capstone for them, so.
I'm Rick, longtime landscape contractor, mostly commercial. Actually did a number of projects at CU and in the city of Boulder. So I worked with in a lot of areas there, but I come from that background. Started digging and planting nursery trees and that back in high school, and just kind of graduated on and button my head up against the commercial construction industry like Randy knows. But yeah, that's where I come from and wanted to kind of get involved with it, and definitely I've learned some great things from the committee members here and from Paul. A lot of knowledge and good people. It's good to be a part of.
I'm Sean. We met in an interview, and I'm originally from Minnesota. I'm an architect by trade, but have a decent amount of experience in landscape architecture and natural resource management. I worked with National Park Service for a while, Forest Service, City of Boulder, kind of doing natural resource management, trail-oriented stuff. And have been on the town board now for 3 years and have served as the tree liaison for that time and stuff. And now I'm the mayor pro tem for the town. And I like to remind everyone on this committee that puts in so much time and effort on it. This is your committee. Your ideas are valid and wanted here. We're always looking to expand the mission and kind of work that we do here. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It's always cool. Cool to hear it all in one.
Some new stuff too.
Yeah.
All right, second quarter social media posts.
Yeah. So, just a little background on this. We have got a new, I always forget titles. It's my shortcoming with my position, but we've got I think it's the social outreach position in town. It's kind of a new position, maybe 2 years old, but she's our person who puts up all the posts on social media and spreads the word out. And that is her sole job. So she is great with all social media, getting the ideas out there, getting them out in a format that, the public will hopefully take in. And so we made a big push kind of before that, but when she came in, she really helped solidify this. But we try to get out a post once a month from the forestry department, kind of topical to the month, related to what we want people to know. And Stephanie, that's her name, she will work it in and do her magic to make it, fit, whether she changes some pictures or some words and, gives the feedback. And she's been great on helping us with that. And so we kind of, I only brought the 3 for just this immediate next quarter, but we kind of break it up into quarters and just kind of review them. I always get the input of the committee. Sometimes we switch them up, which is great. But otherwise we kind of figured it's pretty cyclical. Like, most tree considerations are pretty cyclical anyway. But I bring them up quarterly if we want to change anything or, introduce anything else or anything like that. So for these next 3 months, April, of course, being Arbor Day. The info about Arbor Day, anything like that. These are a couple pictures of the 2 kinds of maples we're going to be planting, Rocky Mountain maple and Caddo sugar maples. So, and I actually got asked at the board, but why why we have put maples on our prohibited street tree list and why we are now planting maples. And I was like, perfect question. Thank you so much for asking that, because this is a demonstration on maples that do work around here. Like, it's not all autumn blazes and silver maples and all that. Like, we do have viable maple varieties that tolerate our western, you know, soil conditions and climate conditions and all that. So those are a couple pictures just of the kinds of maples, kind of showing off their fall color. Going into May. Oh,
Quick question, are those the pictures that are gonna go with the post?
hopefully.
Since they're fall color, is there maybe a picture of the park they could put with that post as well? Just to kind of spring it up a little bit. So it isn't like just
Well,
fall color.
The other thing too, maybe she can put it in like a little 3-picture like slideshow thing, because I also would like the location.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty easy to say like the, you know, next to the pavilion, and people can probably find that. But I would like to put it up with the map. But maybe if we just put a picture, if we can find an old stock photo of,
Or-
um,
yeah, I
yeah,
could
I
take
think-
one for you. Yeah.
well, maybe it'd be like a picture in the summer when like all the trees are green. Just imagine some more nice trees here. So, but yeah, I'll bring that up. May, we start to get into emerald ash borer season. So just a kind of a refresher post on that. We're treating the odd year this year. Kind of just letting people know about that. I mean, we do a lot of, you know, door hangers. People whose trees are going to be treated are going to be made aware anyway. But I like to put this out there, just always keeping it on top of people's heads. You know, it's in Loveland now, which actually might be, I think, yep, no, I put it in there. It's been confirmed in Loveland. I want to keep it on the top of people's heads. Here in town, we have we treat right-of-way ash trees above a certain DBH. And I think that's pretty unique to Berthoud. Or at least most other towns might do it, but they have the fraction of the budget we put towards it. So we have a 2-year cycle, an A and B rotation for treating. It's probably like 13,000 DBH worth of ash trees. So yeah, it was a big project to find a nice split rotation. And if you can kind of make it out here, it's a little foggy, but it's almost all these ash in this green square are about as even as all the ash in all these other squares. So you can definitely see that old mature versus a little younger split there.
Pioneer trees like linden and everything.
Yeah.
It's like
So-
it's like right next to my house.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it?
And then
I see it. Yeah.
for June, I think we start getting into the season where stuff is leafed out, and time to start thinking about letting people know town code for clearance above roads and sidewalks. I think that's always a big one. It could be pushed a little later in the summer, but I think it's good to start out the summer with that. Another thing, when I was talking to Stephanie today about Arbor Day, I also would like to pepper in some more about our street tree work permit. They usually drop off in the winter for me, but I mean, I've only seen like 3 since, you know, November. So I'm just hoping that, you know, people are aware that that's still a thing. And maybe the word hasn't got out that like nothing happens if you don't do it. I mean, I imagine once trees leaf out again, people will remember they have a tree, and thus more street tree work permits will funnel in. So, but yeah, those were just the 3 posts. The EAB one and the June one are, well, I guess all of them are kind of what we did last year. So, any changes, or those look good?
It's nice to have the map up there for the EAB.
Yeah, and I'll try to get a little better photo of that. That's like a copy paste from a lot of documents, so it's a little weird looking.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell what you're looking like. What should we be looking at?
Make it a little more vibrant. Make those boxes like pop out a little more.
Yeah, and always a north arrow.
Yes. definitely.
Are we ready to do Arbor Day 2025 plan?
Yeah. So some things I got going since last time. A lot. I brought up with Stephanie a poster contest theme. We do a Arbor Day poster contest to the elementary schools. It was great last year, to say the least. We went from 1 to 3 to 217 or something. It was last year just blew it out of the park. We tried to add like a theme to kind of get the kids' creative juices flowing with it, and so just one Stephanie kind of threw out there today, like maybe what more would we like to see in the photos to kind of like, not a lot of kids I think really like wrote the exact theme on their poster, but I think it kind of got them thinking about something to draw. So one thing Stephanie threw out there as a possible theme was just trees and their friends. Because I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to get more pictures of like birds and insects in the trees. So
I'm sorry, there's so many dogs in my neighborhood, the instant I can't with trees and dogs.
we'll probably get a couple, but those are the cute ones, right?
That's very open-ended and.
And if you could take that was the second to last draft that I made of the calendar, just so that you can kind of see what we're doing.
Totally forgot to bring the one off my wall, the finished product, but that was like the one of the drafts, and yeah, we got a ton. I'm really hoping for it this year. Next week, I've got all of the schools scheduled out, so I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at the schools. So that'll be good, and I'll have the handouts all ready to go. Hopefully, if we put a theme on there, if we don't, I don't think it'll be the end of the world, but yeah. And then I got the trees ordered, so we're all good. I was able to track them down. They were kind of not as available as I thought they were, but I was able to track a couple down. And they're going to be smaller, 10s and 15s, so that people can actually pick them up and plant them. I mean, we've got 7 of them, so. Also, I'm working on reaching out. Just today, it was a little hectic, but still what I got done was reaching out to my connection to the Girl Scouts, the lady who brought the Girl Scouts last year. So I just was like, hey, just.
And I reached out to some Boy Scout troops.
You did? Awesome.
Haven't heard back.
Sweet. Another thing we had was just reaching out to other organizations here in town that might be
I
inclined.
reached out to the youth advisory person on the town. I haven't heard anything back, but it's just National Honor Society or
Yeah.
any of the youth groups that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I heard back.
I'll see if I can't get into the high school and find whoever leads the honor society and try to get some flyers in their hands. Another one we brought up today was the Rotary Club, and there was another club we were talking about that might also be interested. So we're getting the word out. Definitely. I talked to Stephanie about making some flyers, and I think if we go back to those businesses that really were, they received the calendars well, I would imagine they would put up a flyer in their window, and then I'll also drop off flyers to the schools. This is just the tree planting flyer, not like the poster contest flyers. So. Kind of Arbor Day, kind of also just our summer events. I've been getting quotes on some more signage for our booth. So kind of that pop-up stand banner. It's like a little over 3 feet, but like 6 feet tall. I got a quote for $261. That's really not that bad. No, it's not. But the thing is, what would we put on it? Something that transcends all of the events and probably Arbor Day. So it'd have to be kind of generic, probably just like Town of Berthoud logo, Berthoud Forestry, Tree City USA, maybe,
Like stop by, ask us your questions, because I think that's the most value of those booths.
Yeah.
Like people coming by asking questions.
Yeah. another thing Stephanie recommended was, and I know you guys have recommended it, like one of those feather banners. So I just got a quote on one of those today, and yeah, whatever they come out to be, we'll see. Just something to keep in mind. These are coming out of my education and outreach, which is what we used as the other part of the poster contest. So we'll just see where it shakes out when we, we're kind of just beefing up our event stockpile right
We
now.
need to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah. And but once we're done with that, we'll have a number to play with for the poster contest calendar. And then after that, we might also talk if we wanted to do sponsorships again, if we're looking a little low on that, just to get more. I've been waiting to see what we're going to get back on the poster contest. I hope it's as good as last year, but I'd hate to start spinning the wheels on all this just to get maybe 3 posters back. I really don't think it'll happen, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves
The way
here.
the kids were like so enthusiastic at Oktoberfest about it.
Yeah.
Wasn't that part of the assignment for them?
I think so.
That's what I thought, kind of part of the curriculum.
Yeah. It definitely made it into the hands of the art teachers, and I think they were talking about the same thing this year, like get it into the art classes this year. So
Yeah, if it's assignment, then everybody's bought in, whether they
yeah.
want to or not. It seemed like they really wanted to.
We talked a little bit about an educational component on Arbor Day,
Mhm.
about how to plant trees. I haven't really done anything about that, but if anybody has any ideas or thoughts, I know you talked about when they were digging the hole for the tree last year. You were definitely into some educational stuff about how to plant trees. It was verbal, and I don't know if we could do anything in terms of I think Rick suggested posters or some illustrations or something.
Like tree planting 101.
Yes.
And like print it out on a
Yeah, a
big.
little bit larger, and then they kind of have an idea what
Yeah.
trying to accomplish without having to tell everybody.
I think that'd be great too, especially at this one where we've got 7 trees, where maybe we're spread kind of thin, helping each group. Just something that they could like look over and be like, okay, what step are we on? So I'll look into that.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. That's what I meant. Let me try and do that.
And Paul, as we've been talking about doing videos, so you could also film a video of you planting the tree and like have a QR code on those instructions. Because I know like I would rather watch a video on how to plant a tree than read instructions on it.
Yeah, I talking with Stephanie today. We're gonna try to film one next week, and that'll hopefully fill the April monthly tree care tip thing we have. So, but yeah, we're gonna try to make it short and sweet. Lots of cuts, but it'll be basically like how to plant a tree. So we're gonna hopefully plant a tree next week and really go through all the steps and link it on our website and all that.
That would be good.
Sorry, I'm writing down a note. Trying to think of any other stuff I've got. Like I said, I wanted to kind of up the raffle this year, where maybe we offer like, we offer usually that spring snail crab apple, and this year I kind of wanted to up it, maybe like a gardening starter set, like a little gardening bag, trowel, pruners, knee pad, cool stuff like that, and then maybe just a couple extra sets of pruners for just like extra winners. It's not just draw one name out of a hat and we're done. Something more people can get like a little excited for. And then also I was gonna try to, one of the nurseries we're picking up trees from actually has seedlings of the Rocky Mountain maple. And I was gonna hope I could get my hands on enough, without knowing how many people are gonna show up. I was gonna try to get seedlings of the Rocky Mountain maple just as a giveaway to everybody who comes. As like you helped us plant one of these at Arbor Day, like take them home and plant it in your yard. So
How big do they grow?
These are kind of medium size. They anywhere from like 40 to like 20 feet tall.
At maturity?
Yeah.
Cause I've gotta replace that failing tree in my backyard and I'm trying to figure out what to plant back there.
It'd be good.
And
I think,
It's a small backyard, so you can't have anything that grows more than about 20 feet. so-
yeah, I think the Rocky Mountain maples are like top out at 20.
25.
The Caddos get to the 40. They're a little, they're not that much bigger, but Rocky Mountain maple, into it. So yeah, anyone else have any other ideas? I don't want to like shoot for the moon, but all these little steps are, I'm not feeling swamped yet. I'm just saying that.
Except today, huh?
Today was crazy. I'm a little stressed about next week, but not as stressed. So I think I'm doing okay.
Anything else on Arbor Day?
So for the banners, I do want to try to have one ordered for Arbor Day at least. So I'm just thinking right at the top, Town of Berthoud logo, Forestry Department. Should we also say Tree Advisory Committee? Just Forestry Department. Okay. And then I think the Tree City USA logo might be good, like next to the Berthoud logo or something. And then yeah, just like ask us planting questions.
So I was thinking more to like catch people or like, oh yeah, I have a question about, can I plant this? Or how do I mulch this? Or tree rep, you know, like, I think it was a great opportunity to answer questions. So I think it just to gather more people in. I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I think it did last year.
Except for who's like Lucy and Peanuts and like a little jar out there.
Yes, we're here to advise.
Common sense.
I was trying to
Well,
think
keep
of
the
a
tree.
pun, like maybe leave us your question.
Oh, even better. Yes, we need some dad jokes as part of this.
You probably don't want the kite eating tree.
Yeah.
Oh, tree.
Ask us.
Try to.
Oh my
Ask
gosh.
us your questions.
That's pretty good. Yeah, those are all good. And just another thing, I ordered a nice tablecloth for our booth. So, yeah. So
We're getting up there in style.
I know we're moving on up. We're gonna be the place to be at these events. So that's awesome. But yeah, no, thank you for those ideas. I will definitely try to have that banner for next time. The feather banner, probably even simpler, where they're kind of like teardrop shaped. So probably up at the top, just Town of Berthoud, and then probably just forestry.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
perfect.
simple, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I want them to be generic so that we can use them for all of our events.
True. And if you don't have to put the ask Esther questions or things on there, like I'm sure it'll naturally draw people
Oh,
in.
I
So.
Yeah. I'll see which. I like the try to stump us. That's pretty good. But yeah, so it seems like we'll have one more meeting right before Arbor Day. It's the Monday before Arbor Day. So I mean, hopefully all stuff is locked in by then, and I'll have some updates for you. But yeah, I hope you all can make it. Really right now is just sending out the invites. If you know any big groups or just tell your neighbors, we got a lot to do. If we had the group we had last year, I wouldn't be worried, but yeah, hopefully we get some good weather and good turnout. Because
Not doing it in a rainstorm.
Snowstorm.
windstorm.
I like the tree with us in the rainstorm.
All right, are we ready for the staff report?
Yep. I'm good with that.
Oh, excuse me, one thing, Paul.
Yeah.
The flyers, do you have like a date when you think those would be out or something? We can kind of schedule on.
Hopefully by the end of this week. I kind of gave that to Stephanie. She sounded like that she could work that into her schedule, so we might have them as early as next week.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, 'cause I can do it during the week.
Yeah, I
on
can
the
too.
weekends, so.
Okay.
no
I'll
problem.
I'll reach out to you guys when I've got a stack, and businesses. We'll put one at Town Hall and the rec center, schools, any other community space, library. Yep, that'd be good. Okay, cool. All right, staff report. We did lose a tree at the cemetery. This was not today's win. This was earlier win this month, so we had to do a removal. It was kind of leaning on another tree, but we were able to get it removed. Kind of a cool thing, kind of on topic for tonight, but we left it as this stump, and I'm kind of tossing it out there to my higher ups. They're like, hey, we've got a stump, and it's some good red cedar, so it's very beautiful wood. So I'm gonna kind of float that for a while, and if no one's grabbing onto it, then because cemetery's kind of like, I don't know, you
You
don't
do
want,
something interesting.
yeah, you might offend people there. If,
It's an interesting shape though. I
Mhm.
think you could do something cool.
yeah. My crew had to do a little bit of clearance. This is the wastewater plant in town, kind of out east. We had to do some clearance here for our streets department to, they need to be able to drive their heavy equipment here. This is actually an agricultural ditch. So we just had to clear it up so they could get their heavy equipment through to keep that ditch clean. Nothing too exciting there, but we're also starting to work on our young tree structural pruning. So my guys have been doing a ton of work at Wagner. Really all of our parks, they're kind of revisiting some of the younger trees. So definitely Wagner, the stuff is getting about the ripe age for its first pruning. So stuff has been getting worked on there. Out at the reservoir, well, I didn't put the follow-up, but some stop sign clearance. Stop sign. I think I talked about this last time. We widened the water rings around our new trees at the bike park, and then they were all filled in with mulch. So just kind of a picture to talk about what we did last time. We got some pruning done on Main Street. This honey locust in front of Glass of Art was, I think this lowest branch wasn't as bad as it was. There was a branch hanging well below 14 feet in the middle of the road, and my guys were able to find some time with minimal traffic to get that pruned up and get the clearance we needed. So that's kind of about it. The pruning, and we've been wrapping up our tree inventory for the year and kind of working our way into structural pruning. And I mean, as soon as planting season gets here, we've got a ton of trees to plant. So we're trying to free ourselves up for a huge planting season. We've got Dog Park, some more at Wagner to do, and we're going to try to replant a lot of the trees at Hillsdale this year. So, yeah.
Taking them out of the nursery, you mean, or putting things into there?
Taking them out. Well, we're going to replant. There's a lot of dead trees that have actual tree rings around them at Hillsdale. And we kind of just left them because, birds still kind of will perch up in a dead tree. So we still see them as part of the habitat, but we're like, well, a live tree is just as good as a dead tree, so we should replant these.
Yeah.
And they've got water. So my thing with any open space planting, though, is I want them to definitely be native trees. I don't want to just throw as much as I'd like to, a bald cypress out in our swamp. It would love it down there, but it would be very out of place. Oh, it would love it down there. But I think it would be very out of place.
We don't have any estuaries that need that kind of protection.
Unfortunately. So that'll be weird. We'll have to order in some native trees kind of to match the palette down there. But yeah, we're probably looking at somewhere to 40 to 50 trees for our planting season to start off. And we kind of dropped the ball on hitting our spring planting season the last couple of years. So we're trying to hit it hard this year. So yeah, that's about it.
I was going to ask you quick, last month you mentioned about maybe some community outreach programs, specifically the mulch. We were talking about maybe providing it for communities, HOAs, that kind of thing. If we look into more of that, if I would want to do that, or
I did not ask that question yet. I will try to get on that and get an answer on that. I actually got a question today. Somebody called my office asking specifically that. So people are hoping to get their hands on some mulch, and we've got a ton of it. So
Yeah, I think everything that could work out.
Our subdivision is probably gonna be going the opposite direction. We're gonna be getting rid of a lot of the mulch in our landscaped areas.
The bark mulch.
Yeah, and going to stone.
Against houses.
Yeah. Yeah, especially around the swimming pool, we're getting a lot of it that's still getting blown into the pool in the summertime. And it's just hard to keep it there and keep it maintained. So they think the stone, even though it's more expensive to put it in, it's gonna, yeah, stay there a lot longer.
But even for the trees alone, I think it's a good idea. Just replenish them, you know. I don't know how many trees you guys have.
Well, live trees, we probably got about 600 or so, but many of them we're just letting the grass grow up to the trunk.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to get that question answered, and maybe something kind of in the works, because I know we have like a spring cleanup day where I don't know the logistics of it. I think they just offer, dumpsters and people to come and take junk to like a central location, and maybe that would fit in well there. Like, again, I don't think we'd have it to where people come down to our wastewater, our actual mulch pile, but if we moved it to like a park with a nice parking lot and allowed people to come and fill up as much as they wanted, I don't see that being a problem. Just 4 hours a day, something like come get some mulch, fill up as many trash cans as you want.
I would guess it'd be more of a staff issue if you guys are capable of doing it.
Yeah,
I don't see any issues.
probably have to be a weekend, so yeah, I'll ask that. And thanks for bringing that back up, Rich.
Anything else?
Mulch for
If
every
not,
tree.
our next meeting is April 21st. Monday at 5:30.
I did have one thing to bring up. In light of this afternoon's kind of chaotic and kind of scary events, I don't know who's all informed about the 80 fire. My understanding is it's 100% contained at this point. But I did want to bring up, is everyone here signed up for LADA emergency notifications? Is anyone missing that?
There's, I think there's cards on where the sheriff sits. I think he's got a stack of cards back there.
Same as the NOCO.
Yeah, it would be a NOCO alerts website.
My wife might have it for cell phone, I'm not sure. They've got
Yeah.
some. We didn't get anything from this fire as far as I know.
Yeah.
No.
And it'll show like the evacuation zone.
Yeah, that's what exactly. That's what they showed.
For some reason, it doesn't work with my phone. I've had two organizations that I've actually gone and signed up for, but for some reason I never do.
Yeah, we were coming back after church on yesterday from Strasburg, and we saw 2 fires going off over there in Weld County.
Yeah, there was a mulch fire.
And there was one, it was
Huge mulch fire.
north of Platteville. It was closer to County Road 13. I mean, to the east of County Road 13. But as we drove up County Road 13, next, do you know where that
But this is
that horse place is with the Coliseum and everything, where they have competitions or whatever on the west side of Colorado 13? I mean,
Is it like kind of Spanish thing?
yeah. It looks like the Coliseum in Rome,
Unique.
Okay, they were unloading horses in the pasture, and the ditch was on fire, and there's absolutely nobody there taking care of it, and the wind was blowing. I said, what's gonna happen with this? That one apparently didn't go anywhere, but it was clear the other one was a big one, because you could see the steam rising from where they were trying to put it out.
Yeah, it's a huge mulch storage area.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
My parents
Yep.
live over there.
We're adjourned at
It says 100% file.
Yeah. I never really thought about it.
It's like massive, yeah.
So there's Was it a county mulch pile?
I don't know what it was. I think I just heard that it was a mulch storage area and, it burns hot.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty close to,
A lot of anaerobic in there.
close to Johnston, the south end of Johnston.